I think for the first time ever in the history of this channel, this room is actually kind of cold. I had to put on a slightly thicker shirt because it's a little cold in here. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, and today we're listening to Robbie Basho, or Basho, I'm not sure, with his song Orphan's Lament. This is off of his album Visions of the Country, which was released in 1978. This is a viewer's choice by, and forgive me if I mispronounce the name, Amek Robinson, or maybe it's Ameek. I'm sorry, but either way, thank you so much for the recommendation. I have never heard of Robbie Basho, and I'm not going to look into him. I'd rather just be pleasantly surprised and then look up the information afterwards. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day. You're more than welcome. If you'd like to join me on Twitter, you can join me in the comments down below. Thank you as always for your donations and your help on the channel. Let's just do it. This is Robbie Basho. I had to find it on YouTube, by the way, because it wasn't on Spotify. This is Robbie Basho, Orphan's Lament.
Born for love and nothing more, given away 'cause we was poor. Will you wait for me? My hair was black and my eyes was bright. Never gave pleasure to my parents' side. Will you wait? Will you wait for me? I'll be waiting there by the river, my love. I'll be waiting there by the trees. Will you wait? My face was brown and my hair was long. Cut my hair and hushed my song. Will you wait? Will you wait for me? All my life I've been forced to roam. Never had a place to call my own. Will you wait? Will you wait for me? I'll be waiting there by the river, my love. I'll be waiting there by the trees. Will you wait? Will you
So interesting. I like songs like this that kind of break up like the schedule and like the music that we've been doing. That was so interesting. He has a very strong voice, like a strong mountain of a voice. I love the folk influences in his in the music there. And what I found really interesting, and I'll have to listen to it again to make sure that I'm like completely correct, as I always do, but just how asymmetrical his vocals are separated from the music itself. And the music is presented very, not simply, but it actually like, it matches his vocal range and it matches his stylings perfectly in the way that it maneuvers around him. They're not usually like matched up together. Like I said, I have to listen to it again because I might be completely wrong, but it sounded like a lot of times like his vocals were off from the music itself. But it would come back together. It would kind of come off beat and then come back on beat. And it was really interesting. Like I said, it felt very asymmetrical. And yet, at the same time, as they worked parallel to each other, they did intersect and come together. And then they would kind of break away and go into each other like a separate rhythm. I love the way that the piano plays. Like I said, it matches him sometimes, but then it kind of goes off and does its own thing. And it's played in a way that, like, you can really feel, like, the power, like, the fingers that, like, how do I put this? You can really feel the weight of the fingers as they play on the keys. Like, there's a deep like message within this. And I mean, obviously from the lyrics and the title of the song, this is a deep and powerful message. This is a very honest song. And I've said it before, but I love that about acoustic music, about folk music, and to an extent, country music as well, because it's usually very honest. It's usually very true to self. This song, I would imagine, like Orphan's Lament, and looking through the lyrics, which I'll talk about briefly, but I would imagine that Robbie himself was an orphan, because like the way he sings this seems to me like more personal, right? In the liner notes on the side, it does say that Robbie was an orphan, so I'm just assuming that those are right. But what a sad song. Like, did you guys listen to the lyrics and his singing? His vibrato, his warbling, I love that type, because it really does sound to me like someone like on a mountain looking over the landscape and lamenting and thinking about certain topics. Here, perhaps thinking about his life as an orphan. And I mean, geez, this is harrowing and just like heart-wrenching the way that these lyrics are sung. Born for love and nothing more. Like, this kid doesn't want anything else, just love. That's the only thing he requires. Given away because we was poor. I love the language there. The simple rural language that's used there. Given away because we was poor. That's how you insert a certain culture, a certain dialect, a certain regional culture and language into the song. My hair was black and my eyes were bright, never gave pleasure to my parents' sight. Will you wait for me? How sad is this song? The story of this orphan, Robbie himself. I'll be waiting there by the river. I'll be waiting there by the trees. Will you wait? Waiting for his parents. Like, he doesn't have his parents around, but he's still there waiting for him. And going back to the first line, the only thing that he wants is love. All my life I've been forced to roam. Never had a place to call my own. Will you wait for me? Will you wait for me? So even taking action, taking steps and matters into his own hands, searching perhaps for his parents himself, hoping that maybe his parents were waiting for him. Maybe his parents that he has never met, that he's never had any sort of contact with, maybe he's just holding on to that little brief glimpse of hope, that maybe they think about him once in a while. Maybe they wonder about his life. Do they think about him the same way that he thinks about them, with hope? This is a very, very personal song, and this is powerful, you know? Just the desperation and the hope in his voice, and how powerful his voice is emotionally, because when he does that warble, when he's hitting those high notes, it gets shaky, which is naturally what vibrato is. It's your voice vibrating, it's shaky. And it sounds to me like he's on the edge and on the verge of crying, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure we've all cried at some point before. And it's in that moment, right before you start crying, that your throat closes up, you feel a little sweaty, and whatever words come out next are shaky. They're not stable. And that's where that cry begins. And as Robbie sings these lines, that's where his voice, that's what his vibrato feels like. It feels like he's about to cry. Amek, this is a really good recommendation. Oh, this cut straight to it. And then I'm just reading a little bit more information about Robbie, because I'm really not familiar with him. but it seems that he died at the age of 45, very young. He had a stroke. He slipped into a coma. Man, but what a talent! I mean, I'm kind of looking really, really briefly just to see what else he's done. And this is from his 10th studio album, so he had apparently quite a career. I'm a little stunned at this. This is very surprising. Yeah, it's very moving. It sounds very influential. Like I said, it's just heart wrenching. I really like the way that the piano plays. This was a good one. This was great. I really don't know what else to say about this. Guys, please let me know what you thought of this song. Let me know some other songs from Robbie Basho. I know that another one, I believe, was Mountain Something Raga. I'm not 100% sure about it. Guys, join me on Twitter. Join me in the comments down below. I definitely want to know your thoughts on this one. And I hope that you have a great day. Thank you.